Fixed it. Okay, I fixed it. There we go. Now we're gonna see when everybody shows up. Say shit, if not, I'll go back to watching The Boys. Well, hopefully I didn't just screw up my stream for the day by putting the camera the wrong way. Jeez. Oh, hey, there we go. Okay, we got somebody joining. Sorry. Um, I fixed the camera orientation. I like it better this way. It's better for going back and viewing. If you're looking at it, if you're watching me on a bigger screen, it's a little bit easier this way versus the flip one. It's funny because now with YouTube Live, you have to pick the orientation before you go live. So if I have my phone like this, like straight up, and I click go live, it only stays like that. I won't be able to flip it midstream. It's kind of weird. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so it should be good. Should be able to see any questions that y'all might have for me. I mean, today I just decided to come on because I got nothing better to do right now. I got nothing better to do this evening other than just chill out, hang out here. Thought I'd talk to y'all. It's been a while. It's been probably about 2 weeks since a little over 2 weeks, I think, since the last time I did one of these. I'm gonna take off my glasses because there's a lot of glare. So I'll need my iPad right here so I can make sure that I can see y'all's questions. Because I'm blind, I can't see things. But if I wear the glasses during the stream, you're gonna see like a massive glare coming from my eyes. So let me just go here. The glasses during the stream. Oh, I don't want to hear myself talk. I just want to see. Okay, cool. So I got the chat pulled up. So if y'all ask any questions or anything, I can see what y'all want, what y'all are saying. Hey, how's it doing? How's it going? How's it going, Oz? Man, it's been a minute, huh? Actually, what's today's date? Today's date the 7th, right, of August. I think at this point I'm at month 8, officially 8 months with CFI. I started with CFI back at the beginning of December. Officially, I was on contract with them at the beginning of December. So that would mean that I'd have really 4 months left on the contract with them. At least to fulfill that 1 year contract for the school and for the CDL school and all that. I mean, just because that contract, you fulfilled that obligation, doesn't mean you have to stop working for CFI. You can keep working for CFI as long as you want, really, right? You don't have to leave CFI, but after that obligation has been met, then you can go make any choice you want. You want to leave, you don't have any obligation to pay anything back for the school and all that. So I'm not too far off, man, and I'm just 4 months away from being able to say that my CDL was 100% paid for by the company that I work for, not by me. So hopefully everything continues, knocking on wood, to go well here, and I don't have to make any kind of rash decision. Oh wow, I can't talk today. Decisions. Good Lord, that was that was rough. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now. About a week or so ago, I took my first vacation in truck driving, like actual vacation. Up until this point, I mean, I've taken home time. It's been like 3 days, 4 days, maybe one like 5-day break. This one I actually took about 10 days, about 9. I think it was either 9 or 10 days, and I actually took actual vacation time. I went to go on a fishing trip, which that was cool. I hadn't fished in quite some time, and I really enjoyed fishing. Just went to the pier with the fam and stayed there for hours just fishing. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. So I really enjoyed my home time. This vacation, getting a chance to rest, recuperate, get your mind straight. I gotta say, I didn't take care of my body very much during my vacation. if I'm being honest with you guys, I didn't take care of my body during my vacation time. I went and ate a lot of terrible foods, but I don't get to do that. I try not to do that a lot out while I'm trucking, because it's very easy to do out here. It's very easy to eat junky and to eat fast food, or get or truck stop foods like hot dogs and corn dogs and fried burritos and all that crap. It's real easy to just pick it up and go. So while I'm out here, I try not to eat very junky. I have snacks and stuff every now and then, but I try to put my own food in the fridge. I try to eat things like rice and salads, sandwiches, yogurts. I try to stick to things that aren't gonna balloon me out here. But when I go home, it's almost like I've been eating so well in the truck and whatnot, right? Like trying really, really hard not to eat fast food and stuff like that. But when I go home, my first instinct is I need tacos, I need pizza, I need hamburgers, I need Chinese food, I need Japanese food, I need all of it. Like that's kind of where my mind kind of goes when I go home. I'm just like, you know what, free for all, let's freaking go. So that's pretty much what I did when I went home this last time. And now I've been back in the truck now for about a week. It'll be a week tomorrow since I came back on board from my vacation time, and it's been pretty. It was a pretty good week. I put down 2,500 miles this week. I put down 2,600 miles I think this week. Not too bad. I think all I did this week was dropping hooks. Well, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. At the beginning of my work week, I did do a couple of Tractor Supply loads, which the Tractor Supply loads at the DCs are dropping hooks, but when you deliver to the stores, they're live unloads. So those were live unloads at the stores. But other than those 2 Tractor Supply loads that I had, all these other ones that I had were all dropping hooks. Last night I dropped and hooked at IKEA for the first time, so that was kind of neat. That's a great question, Oz. It's something that I wanted to work on. I wanted to work on just a separate video just about technology in general for truck drivers. I feel like I'm an IT. I got a degree in computer science, and I worked in IT for the previous almost 10 years before coming over here to do truck driving. So I have a little bit of expertise in the field, and I figured maybe I could share what I've kind of built in my truck to help out with things like internet and technology. Maybe that'll help other truck drivers out. But to answer your question on cell phones, so on my cell phone that I use, I have T-Mobile, right? Sprint, T-Mobile, the merger companies, right? And for the most part, it works pretty well everywhere. There's just some areas, like no matter where you're at, that you're just not going to have any cell service. I.e., like the desert in the southwest United States, kind of the east, kind of far west Texas, New Mexico areas, Arizona areas, where you're going to get into those really deserty mountain areas. There's just not going to be very much cell service in those areas. But for the most part, I've had pretty good coverage. My GPS has never really gone out on me using Sprint T-Mobile. As far as data is concerned, when it comes to Sprint and T-Mobile, it's not the best everywhere. It just depends. If you're in a metropolitan area, you're going to get really, really good 5G coverage. But if you're not, if you're kind of in an outside city limits areas, kind of things like that, you may not get the best. So what I decided to do is I decided to do this because I could hotspot off my phone for things like internet, like to be able to stream movies, play video games and all that. But one, it would eat up all of my hotspot data on my cell phone plan, which would not be good. It would run up the bill. And plus I thought, well, it's better to have two companies than one, right? So I've been using since I started truck driving, I've been using this hotspot that I got on Verizon. So this hotspot is a what is it called? It's an NC Go 5G hotspot, mobile hotspot, and I got it through Verizon. So this is using Verizon's network. It was at the time. I'm pretty sure there's more. I mean, this was about a year or so ago. So I'm pretty sure there's better ones out there now. But when I got it, it was the only 5G hotspot I could get from Verizon at the time. I don't know. There's probably other ones now, but it was the only one that I could get that would have 5G coverage. All the other ones were 4G coverage hotspots. So I wanted a 5G coverage hotspot because this thing, it was going to be to stream movies and play games and stuff. It's hard to do that on 4G. But anyways, so this is what I'll use sometimes if, let's just say, I'm in an area where my cell phone's not working, or Sprint and T-Mobile's not working that well. I'll switch to this. I'll connect my phone to it, and then I can piggyback to make Wi-Fi phone calls and stuff off of this guy, off of Verizon's network. If Verizon network happens to be better in the area, I can use that to help circumvent the Sprint and T-Mobile network not working well. And then this thing, connect multiple devices to it, so I can have my phone, my gaming system, my laptop, my iPad, all of that plugged into this all of this kind of attached to this at the same time, and it works very well. And battery life on it's pretty well. The more devices you have connected to it, the faster the battery drains. But if you have one device connected to it, typically you can get about maybe 3 hours before you got to charge it back up. 3 or 4 hours before you got to charge it back up, and it'll run with while being charged. So if you want to just plug it in and turn it on and use it, you can. It doesn't have to be unplugged to use it. But it's been pretty good. The plan that I got, it's an unlimited plan. Of course, the 5G portion is not unlimited. For 5G, like high speed data, I get 100 gig allowance per month on 5G services, like so unlimited speed. So, but after that, it's still unlimited data. But after you reach that 100 gigabyte cap, you get throttled. You get throttled down to, I think it's like 2 megabits per second. So it slows everything down, but it won't just stop working, right? And I've never once, since I've had that thing, I've never once gone over the limit. Like I've gotten close a couple of times, but I've never once gone over the gigabyte limit, the 5G gigabyte limit. And I use it, and I stream movies, I play video games, I upload my videos and stuff using it. So, and even at that, I still don't reach 100 gigs per month. So it's not too bad. It just depends on what you're trying to do with your data in your truck and how much you want to pay, right? You can get it all through one provider if you want. You can get a hotspot and your phone through one provider, but I would suggest get a cell phone service through one company, right? And then get a hotspot service from another company, just so that you have two different options, and you can utilize more cell towers and things of that sort in different areas that you're in. It never fails that in some areas Verizon's not that well, but Sprint and T-Mobile are, so I'll just use my Sprint and T-Mobile stuff. It goes both ways. I think it's beneficial to have at least to use two different cell phone companies out here. If you want to have two cell phones out here, that would also be another thing you could do as well. Hey Ryan, how's it going, man? I just talked to you on Instagram. I hope you don't mind me saying that. I'm not gonna say what we talked about, but thanks for reaching out to me on Instagram. uh, to answer your question on that, I'm actually at a CFI terminal right now in West Memphis, Arkansas. It's right on the border of Memphis, Tennessee. So it's literally West Memphis. If you've ever been to Memphis, Tennessee, you go over the bridge, and then that's West Memphis. You go back over the bridge, you're in Memphis again. But yeah, so I'm in the West Memphis terminal right now. Without looking at a listing of actual terminals, because it just depends on what you define as a terminal. I'm going to use what I define as a terminal. For our terminals, I define them as not drop lots. Drop lots are what they are. It's literally just a lot where you can drop and pick up our trailers, right? There's no facilities or anything like that. There's no dispatch. So as far as terminals are concerned, the ones that have dispatch, obviously trailer dropping and pickup and shops and showers, all that fun stuff, things like that. There's this one in West Memphis. There's the main one in Joplin. That's 2. There's the one in Seagoville, Texas, which is basically right outside of Dallas. So that's 3. There's the one in Laredo, Texas. That's 4. There's one in Kansas City. That's 5. There's one in Atlanta, Georgia. That's 6. There's one in Birmingham, Alabama, I believe. That's 7. Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. That's 8. Let's see, where else? I got 7. There used to be one in North Jackson. That one's closed. We don't have one in North Jackson, Ohio anymore. Wow, we down to 8 terminals? I said Kansas City. So, yeah. Huh. We might be down to 8 terminals at this point. It's quite a bit. There's quite a few of them out here that spread around. There's not any that I know about. They don't go very far northwest. They don't go far west. There's not any far north, and there's not any far northeast. As far as I know, that's how that rolls. I think it's just 8 at this point. 8 actual terminals. I feel like I might be missing one though, but could be wrong. And then as far as the Tractor Supply distribution centers, all of them have all of them are pretty much the same across the board from what I've found, from what I've seen. They all have receiving and shipping offices with bathrooms, but no CFI like dispatchers or anything work at the DCs or anything like that. But yeah, the Tractor Supply, I don't think they have. I don't think we have dispatchers and then on-site maintenance. I haven't seen any with maintenance shops or anything like that at any of the DCs. I don't know if I've been to that one in Waverly. I feel like I've been to Waverly, Nebraska, but I don't know if I went to the Tractor Supply DC there in Waverly. I've been to the one, and I've been to 2 of them that I know of. I've been to the Waco, Texas one plenty of times because because I live in Texas. So if I'm ever going home from home time or home to home, or if I'm coming back from home time, they'll typically give me a couple of Tractor Supply loads just because I'm close, and so I'll end up at that Waco DC quite a bit. I'm like pretty much I know that Waco Waco Tractor Supply DC like the back of my hand at this point. And then there's the one in Casa Grande, Arizona. I've been through that one probably a handful of times, and that one's pretty much the same, the same deal. Pretty big yard, pretty big DC, shipping and receiving offices, all that fun stuff. The only thing about that one there in Casa Grande is that it's extremely hot. It's in Arizona, so yeah. But I think those are the only two that I've been to. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a third. Maybe I have been to that Waverly one. I can't. Oh, you know what? It wasn't Waverly. I've been to a third one. It was in. I don't think it was in Louisville, Kentucky, but it's somewhere in Kentucky. Franklin. There it is. Franklin, Kentucky. There's a Tractor Supply DC in Franklin, Kentucky. I've been to that one as well. That one I've been to probably, I think, like two times. That one has a truck stop literally right down the street from it. Nobody's told me nothing about not idling. I've pretty much everywhere that I've gone, I idle. You can't, man. I tell you, I don't know how you would survive. I mean, we're dealing with the hottest summer I think in history for a lot of states. It's the hottest summer in history. I mean, even just right now, my truck temperature, my temperature meter is reading about 103. Like, that's insane. It's so hot out here these days. And even when I turn off the truck for a little bit, like to go inside somewhere, like whether I'm at a truck stop or use the bathroom or whatever, and then I come back, just in those like 10 minutes or whatever, and I come back, the truck's already miserable just with it being off for a little bit. There's no way I think any of us would be able to survive out here if we had to turn our trucks off. There's no I mean, we obviously have a bunk heater, but it doesn't cool. It's not a bunk cooler. So you can put the bunk heater to the lowest temperature it's got. It's a bunk heater. It's not called a bunk AC. So it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna keep you cold. Unless you're a person that just loves to live in the swamp and loves heat and loves hot air. I just don't see how you could survive not being able to idle out here. Some areas and some spots offer idle air, like machines and stuff, where you can put the idle air hose and stuff on your window and do it all that way. But not a lot of places offer that. It's just not common. So you have to. I mean, otherwise you're gonna suffocate in your truck. With the heat, it's just so hot. You're gonna sweat your ass off in here, and you're gonna be able to be comfortable. You want to be comfortable out here. You want to be able to get good sleep so that you can get your day started and feel good, right? You want to be comfortable. You don't want to feel like you're gonna have to take a shower like every hour. So as far as I know, I haven't had anybody tell me otherwise, that I can't idle or that I shouldn't be idling or anything like that. No one's told me anything about not being able to do that or anything like that. So hope that answers your question, Oz, on that. I will say this, right now it's we're getting pretty close to sundown, so it's not as hot. But at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, where the sun's at its highest point, around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this truck struggles. The truck will still struggles. You can put it at the lowest temperature on high, and you can put the sleeper air on high, and you'll still feel like it's a little warm. Like it's cool, right? It's not hot, but it's not like freezing like it is once the sun goes down. So it's insane. It's crazy how hot it is out here, and how difficult it can be sometimes to keep yourself comfortable during these times. Sometimes out here as truck drivers, you just can't win. Sometimes it's just, it's either too freaking hot or it's too freaking cold. You just can't win. Like very very rarely do you get that perfect, just 70 degrees outside with the breeze, and it's nice and cool, and it's not super hot, it's not super cold. Very rarely do you get that. It's either super freaking hot or super freaking cold. You don't ever get the perfect scenario out here. Very rarely do you get that. But hey, it comes with the territory, right? People deal with it in their houses too, for that matter. I mean, geez. Sorry if you see me going like this a lot. I'm looking at my iPad. Like I said, I'm blind. I don't have 20/20 vision without glasses or contacts. So, but yeah, this week was pretty cool, guys. Like I said, I put down about 2,600 miles this week. Not too shabby at all. Pretty good. A lot of dropping hooks. Very 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 small. Very very small amount of live loads, which is always nice. The nice thing I will say about doing Tractor Supply store unloads, you're always going to get unloaded early in the morning around the time you're going to get unloaded, versus like going to a warehouse to do a live unload, and sometimes you might sit there for 4 or 5 hours waiting to get unloaded. When you do the Tractor Supply store unloads, they have specific times and they stick to them. They may be like maybe at the most 30 minutes off, like sometimes, right? Just depending on if their other unloads took forever or whatever. But you'll never be there longer than like 2 hours. Once you get there, and you back the truck up and they start unloading you, you'll never be there longer than like 2 hours. That's the nice part about those live unloads, is that you're really never there that long. And then it depends on the person riding the forklift. If they're really good with it, they'll move really really fast and you'll be done in less than an hour. If they're kind of a little bit slow with it, with the forklift, then it might take more like 2 hours. But never have I been at a Tractor Supply more than like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. And I think the only reason that I was at that Tractor Supply for like 3 hours that one time is because they had a spill in the truck as they were unloading, so they had to clean it all up and everything and fix it before they could continue unloading. So that was the only reason that one took about 3 hours at one time that I can remember. But those live unloads aren't too bad. But the rest of them that I did this week were all dropping hooks. Dropped the hook at IKEA last night. That was kind of cool. I had never dropped a load at an IKEA before, and I've been to an IKEA a few times, and but I picked up at an IKEA warehouse in Baytown, Texas, and then I dropped it off in Memphis, Tennessee. That was the last load that I was on before I came over here to the terminal. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of neat. On that one, you just drop it into an open dock. You drop it. You gotta jack it up using the little stand jack things, and then they give you an empty trailer, and you hook up to the empty and you take off. Yeah, Oz. It operates like a truck, right? Or like a normal vehicle. So, oh geez, there goes my iPad. Who needs a working iPad anyways? But it works like a normal vehicle. When you turn off your car, your compressor, your AC compressor isn't running anymore, or at least it's not pumping Freon that'll send the cool air through the vehicle. Same concept with trucks. Doesn't work if the engine's off. If the compressor can't pump the Freon in to make it cold and shoot the cold air out, you're just gonna get nothing but air. Whatever the temperature outside is, air. That's the air you're gonna have if you leave the AC on. or if you leave if you leave it on without the actually, excuse me, let me rewind for just a minute. If you turn the truck completely off, right, like you switch to the off position, everything turns off. The air won't even blow or anything like that. Now if you turn the engine off, but you leave the accessory on the truck, right, to just have all the power, like the power running on in the truck, like for your stuff that you plug in, like the DC voltage and all that, and the in cab lights and stuff like that, then, and the radio, then yes, you will be able to turn the air on, but it's just going to be air. It's not going to be cold. The only way that it's cold is if you have the engine running. Otherwise, it ain't going to be cold. I don't. Sorry, Oz. I think I misunderstood your question. I think you're asking about. Are you asking about my fridge? The refrigerator? Is that what you're asking about? I'm sorry. I thought you were asking about the AC. That was probably a really dumb answer. I'm sorry about that. That's probably not what you were asking me. I think I read that wrong. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that, man. The refrigerator. So I have a refrigerator that's not plugged into the to the DC port like some other refrigerators are in the truck. Mine is an actual, normal run-of-the-mill mini fridge with the 120 volt plug-in connection. So I have to plug it into the 120 volt outlets that I have in the truck, and I have I have a little surge protector over here that I have a couple of other things plugged into as well. So it's running off of the inverter in the truck. The inverter is a 1500 watt inverter, and anything that's plugged into that inverter, right, runs as long as the inverter is on. And the inverter is on its own system. So when you turn off the truck, the inverter is still running. So anything that's plugged into the inverter will still have power. So my cooler runs as long as the inverter is on. So for instance, if I turn off the truck, right, let's just say I'm gonna get out of the truck, and if I know that I'm not gonna be back in the truck for like 3 days, and I didn't turn off the inverter is gonna eat up the battery. And probably by the time you come back, those 3 days later, if you forgot to turn off the inverter and you have something plugged into it, it's going to drain the batteries, and then the batteries in the truck are going to die, and then that inverter is going to turn off. And then at that point, you don't have anything that's plugged in doesn't work. So, but from what I've been able to kind of see, if I'm going to be out of the truck for like a day, it doesn't do anything. Like, let's say overnight, right? Like, you're going to be out of the truck overnight. You don't have to turn the inverter off. You can keep it on, and it'll be fine. Like, I've had the refrigerator plugged in, and it didn't do anything. Now, if it's going to be longer than a day, like, let's say you're going to be out of the truck for 2 or 3 days, I wouldn't leave the inverter on. If you have a refrigerator plugged into the inverter, I wouldn't leave it on. I'd go ahead and turn it off and take everything in your fridge with you. Because if not, your battery's going to die, and then everything in the fridge is going to go bad because the fridge is going to stop working. But on normal days, like, when I'm going to truck stops and stuff like that, and I need to turn off the truck for an hour or two, my cooler will stay on because it's plugged into the inverter, and I don't turn off the inverter. So, and if you have a fridge that plugs into a DC port in the truck, I'm under the some trucks, like these Kenworths here in the sleeper, they have this little switch right here. So the little switch right there, this one right here, that's for the power for the DC for the fridge. If you have one that's plugged in where a fridge would usually go. So as long as this button is up, no matter whether or not the truck is on or off, if you have a fridge that's plugged into that port, it's going to keep running. Turn it off, and then the power to that port goes away. And then that port is usually down here somewhere in the area that the manufacturer built to put your refrigerator in. I don't know how it is with other. I don't know how it is with other trucks. This is the only truck I've been in, but in the Kenworths, yeah, you have like a little switch for the fridge if it's plugged into that port. Otherwise, if we're using the inverter, you know, it'll run as long as the inverter's on. I mean, I gotta say, like I on a quick note on my little fridge and whatnot, I still like it. It works very well. I didn't pay very much for it. I think I paid like $80 for it. It just kind of, it does take up your leg space a little bit that you would normally have. Like this hole right here is where you would have a little bit more leg space right here. And there's also in the back part, back this way, back here, there's two drawers there. I don't get to use them because I decided to put a fridge there, so it's fine. It's okay, because what I ended up doing is I ended up using what I would have put in those drawers. I just put it where a truck fridge would go. I just used that for storage now, so I just kind of flipped it around basically, just because the truck refrigerators are expensive as hell, man. Those truck refrigerators are like $500 to $700 a pop. It's like, man, we make decent money out here trucking, but geez, I'm not looking to spend no $500 to $700 on a fridge. On a fridge out here. Like, come on now. I think that's kind of messed up. I mean, I could buy a fridge for my house for like $500 to $700, a big one for my house, right? Like, what, you want me to pay $500 to $700 for a little small dinky one? Come on now, that only plugs into DC to a DC port. You gotta be kidding me. So once I move out of the truck, what am I gonna do with that? What am I gonna do with that fridge? Put it in my car? Ah, yes, you can. And let me show you. I've never showed y'all my coffee maker before. Just fair warning, it's not anything special. But let me pull that out real quick. You get to look at my Power Rangers poster for a little bit while I get it. I'm trying not to break it while I grab it. All right. This is my coffee maker. It's a single cup Keurig coffee maker. It only makes it makes 1 cup. It's not too bad. It's got it comes with the K-cup storage, which I don't keep them in there. I keep them in a separate bag, but you can put them in there. Yeah, this is how it looks there. Keurig one. You can take the little thing out like I do, and then you can put travel mugs in here. So, and it makes up to 12 ounce cups of coffee, which is usually good enough for me. But with this little guy, I'm not sure how it would work. I'm not sure if it's the same with all the other Keurigs, like the bigger ones, right? If you want to bring a bigger one with you. I'm not sure how it works with those. But with this one, I have found that because I have the fridge plugged into the inverter, that sometimes if I have the fridge and the Keurig at the same time and I try to brew a cup of coffee, it might trip the inverter. It might trip it where it'll overload it, and then I'll have to go and restart the inverter to finish the process. But what I have found that what works is if it's the only thing plugged into the inverter while you're using it, it won't trigger the 1500 volts. It won't overload it. That's what I found. So what I do is when I want to make my cup of coffee, I'll just unplug the fridge for a minute. I'll brew my coffee, and then I'll plug the fridge right back in, and it doesn't trip the inverter or anything like that. So it will run. I also am able to use my electric burner. If you've seen any of my other cooking videos, I run that on the inverter too, no problem. It's probably only tripped once, and that's probably because I kicked the the grill to like 400, 450, which is probably too high for the wattage needed for that. But I'm able to do quite a bit. I mean, I've never had any really big problems with this inverter. It's a 1500 watt inverter. As of right now, like as we're speaking right now, I have a refrigerator plugged into it. I have a PlayStation. I have a PS4 plugged into it. I have my monitor plugged into it, and it hasn't tripped. It hasn't tripped the inverter at all. The inverter's running just fine now. With all of that plugged in right now, if I plugged in that coffee maker and tried to make a cup of coffee, it'll trip it. It'll be way too much. It'll overload it. Man, I'm gonna say it the way that it's labeled. Mojado, how's it going, Mojado? ¿Cómo está? I like your profile pic, man. God, I'm a Texas boy, man. I love my home state. I don't like some of the things my home state does, but I love my home state nonetheless. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I love Texas. Dude, that your diet sounds amazing. Carnivore diet, bacon, eggs, meat, seafood. Oh man. I wish I could be on a diet like that, like every day. It would just require me to have to work out constantly. And sometimes out here, before I get in, I'll answer your question, Mojado, but before I get into that, just quick, like, it's tough to stay fit out here. It really is, because you got to make time for it. You got to be able to make time for it. Dude, that's pretty cool. That's nice. Congratulations, man. Do you work out a lot? You have to, man. I mean, I don't know. Your body's probably different from mine, but with me, if I ate a lot of red meat and a lot of like eggs and bacon and stuff constantly, my body likes to pack it into fat. No matter what I do, I could work out every day, and my body likes to pack that kind of food, like those kind of saturated fats, into I don't want to say saturated fats, but just those kinds of fats. It likes to process it into fat, and I don't know, it sucks. It's terrible. Yeah, see, our bodies are just different. Then my body likes to do that. So for me, like, if I want to eat like that, I literally have to like run at least and I'm not even lying here. I have to at least be able to run like 2 miles a day. If I'm gonna eat like that, I have to run at least 1 mile to 2 miles a day. Otherwise, my body likes to pack all those kinds of foods right into fat, and I'll gain it so quick. And it sucks, man. It's terrible. So, because I love food and I love eating really, really good food. But so I have to kind of balance it a little bit. For me, I have to balance it. But for you, dude, that's working for you. Keep going. Don't even stop. Keep doing that. You know, speaking of fasting, I have kind of implemented intermittent fasting a little bit, and it's helped. It's helped a lot. I don't do it every day, but I at least try to do it at least 5 out of 5 days a week. I'll do a is it 12 or 16? I'll do a 16 and 8. I'll do a 16-8 fast. If you're not familiar with that, 16 hours of no eating, 8 hours of eating, 8-hour window to eat. So I do that at least 5 times a week. It helps. And there are just some days where I'm like, you know what, screw it. Like, I need to eat something, and I'll eat something. But as far as cooking materials are concerned, so to answer your questions, Mojado, man, that's crazy. Cook with butter and bacon. You're blowing my damn mind, man. Like, I look at that and I'm like, if I did that, it would be extremely delicious. But man, I'd probably gain 50 pounds in like a month. But good for you, man. Good for you. Oh man, yeah. See, it is tough. That's why I said like it's tough to do 18 to do 18 to do 16/8 out here on that kind of fast, because your schedule is never the same. Your schedule is always different every day, just depending on the loads that you pick up, the loads that are assigned to you, and your traveling times and all that. But I do try to stick to not eating for 16 hours in a consecutive amount of time, at least 5 days a week if I can help it. At least I try to do that. I figure that'd be good if I can at least be consistent with that. I will. I'll look that up. 18/6. That sounds. That's. I don't think I can do 18/6. I think 16/8 is my limit. I think for me personally, I think 16/8 is my. I think that's my. That's where I'm gonna stick with. I've seen some people do. What is it? 36-hour fast. I'm like, oh my god! Like you don't eat anything for 36 hours? Are you insane? I've seen people do 36-hour fast. I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, y'all are freaking crazy. I can't. I barely want to go like 2 hours without eating something, but I force myself on my fast days to not eat anything during those times. Whoo, man. More power to you, man. Like I just said, I can barely go 2 hours without eating something. So it's a challenge to go 18 hours without eating something, or 16, but I do it. I know it's good for my health. I know it's good for me. So I bite my tongue and I do it. But man, I gotta eat. That's true. You're not wrong about that. If you eat protein, you tend to stay full a lot more. But I love food, man. I just love food. That's the thing. I love food, and in the past I've loved it a little too much. So I have to control how much I love food. I have to control how much I love food these days. So it's okay. It's all good. But as far as cooking supplies are concerned, let me pull it out. Give me a minute. So I use this to cook on. If you haven't, you can go look at my other videos and you can kind of see it in action. But I use this Farberware. I use this Farberware electric skillet. Got it at Walmart for like 20 bucks. Wasn't too bad. Not too bad. It goes all the way up to 450 degrees. Although, like I said, if you bump it to 450 degrees, you're probably going to trigger the inverter, but it'll cook consistently in a 1500 watt inverter at 350. Never had a problem cooking with that. And then I just have my normal cookware stuff like spatulas, knives, and then all my spices and oils and stuff that I carry with me here in the truck, and I just take them out when I need them and put them away when I don't. It's not too bad. I've seen people, and I've been thinking about doing it myself. I'm not sure if I am yet, but I've seen people cook with air fryers, and they're cooking a lot of good things with air fryers. Like I see some of the stuff these truck drivers cook with air fryers. I'm like, damn, that looks really good. So maybe it's about time that I go ahead and invest in an air fryer. And it's a lot less messier based on what it looks like. I mean, you just literally put your food in that air fryer, dump it in, and then dump it out, and it's pretty clean. It's a great alternative to deep frying. So I might try it. I might buy one. I'm not gonna break the bank on one or anything, but I might buy one on Amazon or something. When it's on a deal or something, and I might try it out to cook with that. But cooking with that electric skillet, like it's not. I enjoy cooking with it. It's not a big deal. I also have a 1,000 watt microwave in here that I use as well to warm things up and stuff. So if I meal prep, then I know that I can heat it back up if I need to. Not a big deal. The tough part about cooking out here, just a small little note on that, is unless you're Yeah, unless you're an independent contractor, right? Because as an independent contractor, you book your own loads and your own works and your work schedule and stuff like that. But when you're a company truck driver, you're not going to be able to book your own loads. You're going to get dumped loads on you um, at any time, right? With pickup times that vary at different times, pickup and drop times. So the tough part that can be about meal prepping and cooking in your truck is you're not always going to be able to be around an area where you can stop at a grocery store. Um, so you have to plan your stuff out, very thoroughly. If you have an opportunity during your 34-hour break, or if you happen to be like really, really close to a grocery store and you got like 10 hours to burn, then make that plan to go and buy as much as you need to get you through a week's worth of groceries. At least a week's worth. If you want to stretch it to 2, you can, but it just depends on how big your fridge is, right? And then you need enough time to cook it. You need enough time to prepare it and cook it and store it and pack it up. So it can be kind of difficult sometimes, but you can make it work. I've made it work. You can. But that's what I use out here. It's been pretty good to me. I bought that thing for, like I said, for $20 at Walmart, and it's been really good. Haven't had any issues with it. It cooks very well. It's very the heat is very evenly dispersed, so I can cook on whatever side of the pan that I want, and it heats up really, and it cooks everything thoroughly. So I don't have to like keep it in like the center or anything. Like I can spread out cook or I can cook half of something over here and half of something over here, and it'll work just fine. Man, I can't believe I've already been here for an hour. That's crazy. These things go by so quick, but I have a lot of fun doing them. I like talking to y'all and whatnot. I don't know what's next for me yet. I only have about less than 6 hours left on my 70 this week. So chances are I'm probably not going to get any loads until after the 34-hour reset. So although when I dropped off this load at 7 in the morning, the IKEA load, and came to our terminal, it was about 7 in the morning. I didn't go officially on a 34-hour reset, but I kind of thought to myself, because of how many hours I have left, they're probably not going to give me anything, because they typically want to give you something that you're going to use at least 8 or 9 hours in the day to do. They're typically not going to give you anything that's only going to take like 3 or 4 hours to complete. So, and it's Sunday. There's not a lot of freight that moves in and out of this particular terminal on a Sunday. So I might get something tomorrow morning, but I have a feeling that I'm probably not going to get something till tomorrow night when my 34 hours complete. So I guess I'm just going to use this time to just kind of relax a little bit. Maybe go to the grocery store and buy some things to do some meal prepping, and then go for a little walk. The sun's going down now, so it's probably about a good time to go for a little jog or a little walk, do some upper body workout, and then tonight I think I'll just play some video games. And I've been watching The Boys. I finally got on that train, and I'm on season 3 now. I really enjoy that. I really enjoy it. I enjoy I enjoy these superhero shows like The Boys, Umbrella Academy, those shows like that. They're pretty cool. They're different takes on superheroes. I still love Marvel, Marvel and DC and those movies and things like that. But I like these different grungier takes on superheroes. It's a different taste, so it's kind of nice, kind of cool. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take off for today. I appreciate y'all joining me as always. Remember, if you aren't already, to please like the videos. Subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. It really helps me out a lot. It lets me know y'all are listening and that y'all appreciate what I do out here. I really appreciate y'all for following me and it's been 8 months on this journey. I can't believe that it's already been that much, and I've I've put about 65,000 miles down on my books, and it's been a hell of a ride. It's been really, really cool, and I intend on doing this for the long haul. So I appreciate y'all joining me tonight, and look forward to what we're gonna do all together as we continue to grow. For those of you that are in school right now, good luck in school. Hopefully you're able to get your CDL here pretty soon, and then I'll see you out here. That's the goal, right? You ever see me out here, flag me down. I'm not a bad person out here. I don't shun people. If you see me out and about, just call my name or come and tap me on the shoulder or come and grab me. I'll be more than happy to, if I got the time, I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you out here. I love meeting people from the YouTube community out here. So, but yeah, guys, other than that, y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good night. Keep the rubber down and the metal side up, and I'll see y'all down the road.